Welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Blockade, issue 7, Turning Point. On the cover, a crowd of familiar faces leer at the readers, with glowing red eyes, their mouths locked in a permanent grisly frown. In the front of this crowd, we see Fae, Light Hammer, Missing Links, and Glacier. In the bottom corner, there is a silver embossed logo in bold letters, Blockade. We turn the page and our story begins. The last thing we saw was the face-splitting smile on Lighthammer's face. So we get the panel of Lighthammer with that horrible, horrible grin. And then they get a black panel with that same horrible grin and just Lighthammer's eyes. And then we pull back. And we cut over to Brian. Brian, you're standing in the heart of the city. There's a really large memorial to some of the older heroes of yore. A lot of the older heroes. The heroes from the Golden Age, the heroes from classic Moon Harbor. And all around are discarded weapons and such, kind of scattered around the field. And as you walk over, this younger girl, probably 20 years old, comes running over to you. And she kind of grabs you by the shoulders. Longtime readers will recognize this girl as the intern. Are you a hero?
Well, I mean, I've certainly done my deeds.
Great. And she pulls you by your wrist over to the van, and she's like, "So I was here doing some work, and so I'm an intern. I'm and Saber, and they were all fighting, and then they were all gone in red lights. And I don't really know what to do, so I'm not a hero in any way. But you look like you're a hero. You came here. No one else has come here." And she pulls out a series of 6 or 7 weapons, including some sort of arm cannon that you can put on your wrist, like a wrist cannon, some sort of jetpack, rocket boots, all sorts of things. And she's like, "Can you use any of these?"
Could I consider this as just an opportunity to restock my gadgets?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, yeah, so I pick up a couple of things, and I put aside some rather bulky things I was carrying that looks like they were meant to be attached to robots.
Great. You don't have to describe what all you pick up. We can just see you kind of stock up on things.
We did establish, though, that one of them was a jetpack, and pretty sure I'll be using that.
Yeah, and she's like, "Here, this is a Saber walkie-talkie. They're super far distance. I can't get a hold of anyone in Saber, so here, take this, and I'll be on the ground, and if you need anything, I don't know, call someone maybe. No one's picking up. I don't know where they are, but that's fine. Here." She shoves a walkie-talkie onto a clip on your shoulder, and she's like, "Cool, go get him, kid." And she smacks you on the arm.
I give a weak thumbs up, and I dash out.
Cool. So you step out of the van. As you step out, the clouds have kind of cleared. The mist is still kind of lingering in the air, but it's a little bit higher up above the city now. It's floating kind of right above the tops of the buildings, and in the clouds and above the clouds. You've got a perfect shot of the Astron spaceship right above you. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm gonna fly on up there.
Cool. Can you go ahead and roll to unleash your powers to maneuver this jetpack that you just learned how to use?
I'm going to assume this triggers always prepared when you unleash your powers by producing a brand new minor invention or gadget from your supply. Spend 1 gadget and roll plus superior.
That works for me. Great.
Okay.
On a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition, or I will tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
I am going to mark insecure because I am using inventions made by somebody else.
Cool. You launch up into the air. What does it look like as you fly on your jetpack?
I spin around a little at first because I'm not used to the controls, but then, I'm able to fly straight up. And as I'm going up, you can see me tinkering around, or there's a frame of me tinkering around with some of the other assorted gadgets I took, trying to turn them into something else.
Perfect. I love that. And we get the panel of you landing on the outside of the ship. The panel door where Anagram just went in is still open.
Do you think this jetpack's heavy?
It's definitely not light. It probably weighs it's probably about the weight of a college backpack loaded with textbooks. So Not heavy
Yeah,
enough that you can
I'm going to
walk around with
toss
it,
that
but
right off the side and just assume that, I mean, I just know there's going to be something else.
perfect. We see a panel of the intern like watching you up there, and then all of a sudden the jetpack crashes onto the front of the van and just crashes through the windshield. And we see her turn like kind of shocked and then look back up at you. And then we're going to cut away to Amber and Max. In front of you are Boost and Outlet.
We've probably seen some vague, like, wait, something ain't right here from the other one, right? I assume we can't see exactly what's going on, but
Something is definitely wrong. And you don't have all that much time to think about it as Outlet walks over and presses the panel, and the panel opens.
So now Amber's powers are back.
Yep, now Amber's powers are back.
Cool. She kind of gets a jolt and her suit like lights up white, like, oh, all right.
And then Boost lifts their foot and points it at the two of you, and it's like a magnet pushing you away. And the magnet just like pushed. Max, do you have any metal on you, or are you just?
at least a bit in my utility belt, like buckles and such. Not a lot, but a bit.
Cool. Squire doesn't, right?
Correct.
And Amber, you got a lot of metal on you.
Honestly, not that much. The lights are LED strip lights, and there's not really much magnetic stuff on there.
Cool. Boost lifts the foot up, and like all the stuff that is magnetic on you just kind of like gets pulled back towards the wall pretty hard. Or rather, pushed away from Boost pretty hard. It probably knocks you off balance, Max, and you at least stumble backwards, Amber.
As I'm flying backwards, is there any chance, like, I can throw Squire at Boost?
Please, go ahead and you rolling to directly engage a threat.
Yeah, that is my intent.
Cool, go ahead.
So I think the way this lead up panel is, like, Max starts getting thrown backwards by these magnets and like probably lifted off his feet completely. And we get like his arm grabbing Squire like running up his arm a bit, and he just launches Squire as he's flying the other way.
Great.
And I'm trying to give it a cool description so that you all still think it's cool when I have to roll with danger.
But you're using Squire, so you get a +1.
Awesome. I'll use Squire to get a +1.
Hey, on a 7 to 9, you can choose one.
What does Boost's face look like? Do they wear a mask?
No, they don't.
Okay, I'm going to still choose the same thing I was going to choose when I thought they wore a mask, but I think it implies it's more vicious. I'm going to take something from them, and I'd like to take their vision, at least temporarily.
Great, explain how that works.
I think Squire just latches on to Boost's face. Like, arms and legs wrapped around the back of Boost's head. Just Squire is now a large raccoon face mask.
Perfect. And Boost's foot shifts, and like Boost like kind of loses their balance really fast, and their foot kind of shifts down the hall, and it pushes down, and you see Lens, who is kind of entirely wired, just get like knocked off their feet and just like go like bouncing down the hallway. Boost then turns back, and the boot has shifted from like magnet to heat, and essentially blasts a like heat blast directly at you, Mac. Can you go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow for me?
Yeah, as long as I can do it at the same time I hit the wall.
Yeah. Okay. On a 10+, choose one.
I'd like to lose control of my powers in a terrible way, but I don't have any idea for what that looks like. Do you have any ideas?
I do, actually. It's a little dark.
Have at it.
I think Squire sees you getting pushed back and like launches off Boost's face, and in doing so, her claws like gouge at Boost's eyes.
Ah, that's vicious. Is there any reaction from Boost to this?
We see the face like contort in pain, but they don't make any like sound. There's no like cry out. We see like a grimace, and then it immediately returns back to neutral.
Okay. I think Max is probably still in a heap at this point, hurting.
Cool. There's blood like dripping down Boost's face. And now we're going to enter a battle against a dangerous foe. So, who do we think is our leader right now?
That's a good question, since we're all separated.
Well, Max just gouged a guy.
I actually think I would vote for Carl if Carl revealed himself soon.
Agreed.
I'm down with that.
I could reveal myself on the next turn.
Cool. Let's have Carl go ahead and like jump in then. Carl, you just saw the panels open and all your friends get attacked. What do you want to do?
Okay, so the First thing I want to do is I'm going to try to set off all of the motion sensors across the ship to create an opportunity for everyone.
Cool.
But the ants would just crawl around the ship and just set off all of the movement sensors. So for the aliens, it's like there's people in every room suddenly.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and have you roll to unleash your powers on that one.
A 9. Yay.
Sweet. On a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition or I'll tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
I'm going to mark a condition.
Great.
And I'm going to get angry about this.
Perfect. Well, all the alarms are going off all over the ship. And you see Asterons who are like definitely starting to head towards the prison cells, like turning around and like heading in different directions. You do see that the Asteron mages are still heading towards you.
How close is the door of one cell to the door of the other cell?
Probably 15 feet, not too far.
I think I want to try to just cause maximum mayhem, like dropping through the ceiling and try to knock them on their ass or something.
Great.
Can we get like the golem materializing in the middle of the hallway between like the two groups of operatives?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for, but I need a semi-decent roll first, I assume. So.
Can you go ahead and roll to provoke to get their attention? That's going to be plus superior.
Yeah, I got -2 to that. This is going to be bad. I rolled an 11.
Perfect. On a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. So
there's an air duct running through the corridor that goes in between the cells. And suddenly the metal just rips open and out comes this big golem creature. The arms and the legs are on fire. The body is made of a big ball of insects. And there's a shining red eye in the middle of the sphere. And it crashes down and it knocks the surrounding guards on their ass.
Perfect. They all turn and they look at you. Everyone turns and looks at you. And
you want to do the team move now?
Yes, let's do that first. Carl has just appeared. So Carl is our leader. Carl, do you have influence over everybody in the team?
I don't.
Cool. What is everyone's purpose in the fight? Let's go with Carl first.
My purpose is to get everybody out of here.
Cool. Al, what is your goal here?
To fucking fight and blow shit up.
Cool. That doesn't quite sound like the same purpose. Amber, what's your purpose here?
To end it.
To end, like blockade.
End this blockade.
Cool.
We're in it to win it.
Same.
Yeah, go team.
Cataclysm crew, let's do it.
Yeah.
Ryder, what about you?
I think my purpose is to end the blockade.
Cool. So it's not quite the same. You're all pretty similar, but you're not quite the same. So I'm going to say that's not another team there. Does anyone mistrust the leader or the team?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
After making that kick-ass entrance, I think I deserve that.
Perfect. And then I don't think you're ill-prepared or off balance. I'm going to say that adds 2 more. So we're at 4 team. Let's jump back over to Ryder. Ryder is currently pinned against the wall with a sword to his throat.
My question is, did Lighthammer look at Carl or Myriad whenever he did his thing?
Yeah, everyone in the hallway turned and looked.
Awesome. I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to grab the, because I'm not in armor. My armor began to rematerialize, but I didn't materialize on my body. I'm going to grab my buckler and then I'm going to just whisper, because he's kind of got my throat, and go, Hinshin, Ryder, Typhon, go. And then my armor is going to materialize in pretty much the most explosive way possible. So energy is going to materialize out of me as the armor forms.
Spectacular. Are you trying to like knock him back with that?
Yep.
What are you trying to do?
That's the idea. To knock him away.
Cool. I think that you can just do that. So you knock Lighthammer back into the hallway, and he turns up at you and gives you this look. And for a moment, you see the Lighthammer that you know, and he looks really hurt, and then kind of shocked, and then all of a sudden his face is neutral again with that same like black eyes clouds over top of. And he stands out and he puts his sword facing you. Fae has shifted her attention from you and is now standing and facing Carl.
Okay, so what Ryder's going to do next is Ryder's going to quickly turn his head towards Blue Samurai and go, Samurai, if you've got something, now's the time to do it. And then he's going to look at Lighthammer and basically super speed. He's going to do a super speed punch and try to throw Lighthammer into Fae. Now I am going to be doing this. I'm holding back because I don't want to kill him. So that would be a never give up, or not never go. That would be fight the good fight.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll for that.
All right.
Perfect. You definitely did it. Tell me what that looks like.
So that is a directly engaging a threat. So what that looks like is, and I guess the only person that would see it would be Samurai, the Blue Samurai. He would see just Ryder, crouching because he got dropped. He crouches, turns, says what he says, and then he sees him look up at Light Hammer, and then the next thing he sees is just a blur, and like the panel shows an overhead shot of Light Hammer, of the blur, and then Light Hammer flying, and Ryder standing in a pose where he just hit him, and he's just standing there waiting as he flies. So you see the panel of the hit of the blow, and then Light Hammer flying back into Fae, hopefully knocking them both down into the hallway in front of the golem. I'm going to take, that would be a pick 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be resist and avoid their blows, and then I'm going to create an opportunity for my allies.
Great. So Fae and Lighthammer kind of go sprawling onto the ground, and then the Myriad Golem, I'm going to say it's your turn to do the thing. Myriad, what do you want to do?
Carl has no idea what's going on right now, but he suddenly notices that Faye is there and that something is wrong. So he grabs her and he accepts her into the hive mind, and he's gonna try to wrestle away the possession.
Spectacular. You're still connected to Faye, right? Like that's still, you've never like unconnected with Faye. So you connect with Faye in the hive mind, and we see in your room, your domed room, we see Faye standing there, and on either side of her is this small, angular, not human, not creature shape that looks like one of the Astron mages that you didn't see, but they are very like lanky and very thin, and basically a bag of skin on top of bones. There's 2 small versions of those standing and holding either of her hands. It looks like 2 children holding onto Faye's hands. And they all speak in unison, and they say, "Hello, Carl."
There's the typical hive voice coming from all around, and it's pretty disembodied, and he goes, "Well, hello, would you like to meet my friend?" And then a hole opens up, and suddenly a big flaming face comes rushing into the cavern of the hive mind, and it's
spectacular.
Yeah.
As Face enters the big open area, the 2 smaller angular terrifying figures look up, and you see that same face splitting grin on both of their skin stretched horrifying faces. And they cock their heads. One cocks it out. They both cock it out away from Faye, and then they both say together, "Oh, the smiling phoenix is here. We haven't seen one in this dimension."
I'm not sure what the phoenix would say at this point.
The phoenix kind of snarls a bit and says, "I don't recognize you. How do you know me?"
The 2 creatures and Faye all speak together, and they say, "We've been through many dimensions like this one, and there's one of you in each of them. So I assume
I think the phoenix interrupts to yell, "Carl, burn them."
Suddenly, all around the sphere, there's faces showing up that start laughing, and the laughing gets louder and louder and louder, and then suddenly the whole place is on fire. So there's this eerie laughing everywhere, and the place is on fire.
I love that. I'm gonna say go ahead and roll to unleash your powers on that one.
That's my worst roll.
I'm so sorry. If you want to charge your burn and use your burn instead, you can do that as well.
Yeah, you know what? I got 1 burn left. So
go ahead and use your burn.
I'm gonna reality storm.
Cool.
So the fire is a reality storm. So then I get a slightly. Does this count as being terrifying for the aliens? I'm not sure if it's terrifying to them because they're so alien.
I'll say it's terrifying. It's pretty scary. The laughter is eerie.
I rolled a 6.
If you want Faye to use team to help you, I can make that a 7.
Yeah, go ahead and make it a 7.
Faye's eyes kind of return to normal for a second, and you see her powers just kind of like grab the fire and pull it in at her. And the like walls of flame and the entire dome of flame just kind of condenses really quickly onto the three of them. And as it does, we cut back to the real world and we just see Faye scream in agony. I'm going to have her go ahead and take a powerful blow on that one. On the 7 to 9, I'm going to choose 1. I'm going to take advantage of her influence to inflict a condition. And I want her to inflict guilty onto Carl.
I already got guilty marked.
Afraid? Do you have afraid yet?
I don't have afraid yet.
Cool. So yeah, you just watched your powers kind of like blast your sort of girlfriend, and then she just screamed out. And I think there's a moment of like fear of like, what did I just do?
Yeah, because what she just did is I've got all 5 conditions now.
Oh, good. I want to jump over to Brian. Brian, you're walking down the hallway of the spaceship. You can see you weren't too far behind Anagram or the sword. So you can see their like light. Are you following them down the hall, or are you just like maneuvering the best way you can?
I'm picturing that there's something that, as you know, like an indication of a struggle or something.
No, because Anagram was taken over. Anagram, like, you don't know this, but Anagram was taken over by that like mind spell of the mage. So
right. Okay. So I must see them. It's, you know, like the end of a hall. I must see them just as they're turning the corner somewhere.
Yep, exactly.
And so yeah, I'm walking down the hall. Can I suggest that at this point my sensor starts vibrating, but I don't notice it over the very loud alarm sounds?
Yep, absolutely.
And so yeah, then I'm running down the hall.
Perfect. You turn a corner, and a hero you don't recognize, but readers recognize, the sword and Anagram, who you were just chatting with, are both there. And they're walking pretty slowly. It's very, like, soldier-like, very, like, mechanical. And they are walking away from you. They don't turn to see you, but you do run up, and you're pretty close to them now.
Can I tell that this guy's a hero? How do I know she's not being kidnapped?
You would probably be familiar with the sword. The sword is one of Saber's prize agents. He's kind of paraded around a lot as, like, he's the golden boy of Saber. So from the back, you'd probably be able to recognize him of, like, oh, that's the sword. He's a good guy.
Well, I think I'm going to shout from behind them, hey, you guys want to pick up the pace?
They turn, and they both have that black eye with the gray clouds covering them. The sword has a sword, which is part of his hand. His hands have been removed. They are replaced with robotic implements. And right now, one of them is a sword, which he holds and points at you. And then he starts walking towards you.
I'm going to start checking him out to see what I can notice.
Great. Why don't you go ahead and assess the situation? That's going to be a roll plus superior. Great. On a 7 to 9, you can ask one of those questions.
I'm going to ask, how can we best end this quickly? Because I got to get to my friends.
When you say this, do you mean like Blockade as a whole? Or do you mean like
this encounter with these 2 people?
Yeah, so something is clearly controlling them. So if you could figure out how to like break that signal, you might be able to. That would end the encounter.
Actually, I just got an advancement, and that lets me pick a new move. There's one in particular for the brain. So when you point out the obvious flaw in a known foe's plan, roll plus savior, I say, you know, if you're going to try to take over somebody's head, maybe you shouldn't just be using conventional radio signals.
I'll take that. That'll work.
Okay, on a hit, you're right, and another teammate, your choice, can take it. Oh, well, I should have read that first. Oh, well, another teammate, that could be Anagram. So on a hit, you're right, and another teammate can take advantage. They get +1 ongoing to act on your information. So I might say maybe she could hear that in, you know, whatever kind of weird state she's in and fight back against it with that knowledge.
I think that's exactly what I was going to say too. Anagram, can you go ahead and roll to unleash your powers with a +1 that?
You got
Did
a
I
+1.
do it? That's with the +1.
Spectacular. So as you roll that, you get that like wave of them like invading your brain again, and they get another piece of information. What piece of information do they get?
That Brian is kind of nothing without his gadgets. I mean, I could probably put that in a nicer way, but you know.
I am.
The sword takes his sword and swings it hard at the ground, and does that like classic move where he hits the ground and like the ground kind of splinters and like rushes up at your feet, and it hits you and knocks you off balance. You can either roll to take a powerful blow and like get hurt from it, or it can make you drop your gadgets.
I'm going to take a powerful blow.
Cool, go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow for me. On a 7 or 9, you can choose one.
I give ground.
Anagram is going to run towards you. Anagram and the sword both work for Saber, so they recognize the Saber gadgets. And one of the gadgets that you took was like a grappling hook on your belt. And she comes up and she presses the button, and the grappling hook kind of just like launches itself backwards and like hooks you on a corner and then just like yanks you backwards off your feet. And you're getting pulled like away from the fight. They both turn, and you'll probably have to like untangle it from the wall. They both turn and start walking back towards the main battle. As they do, we're going to jump over to Machina. Machina boost just like pushed you against a wall and then hit your friend with Outlet is standing there with electricity charging. Machina, what do you want to do?
What do I know about Outlet's powers?
She's a thunderstorm, firing bolts of electricity, that kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Amber's going to kind of charge and I guess try to like drain her of electricity.
Cool, I love that. Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers. Solid. On a hit, you do it. On a 7 or 9, you can either mark a condition or I'll tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
I'm going to mark a condition. I think hopeless.
Cool.
I think this whole situation is getting out of hand.
That seems fair. As you rush her, she's about to like start blasting power at you, and you just absorb all of it. And she's giving it her all, to the point where like through the facade of the like neutral expression, you can see like the teeth clenching and like her weight kind of shifts. So she's kind of like put one foot backwards and she's kind of bracing herself, and she's setting her full powers through you.
Hell yes.
Your body's getting charged up and charged up and charged up. I'm going to say that you actually get the chance to, if you'd like to, you can like store it. Consider this as like a held burn.
Okay.
But at any point, if you want to like blast that power at her or elsewhere, if you want to like blast that power out, just let me know. Like,
I actually do want to use that. I want to take out Boost's boots.
So tell me what that looks like.
I think we see her after holding on to Boost, just kind of like duck down and grab onto Boost's feet and just send it all through there. Like, nope, you're done using those. Stop it.
Boost's boots explode.
Nice.
Shower of sparks, and it's kind of like crack and like fall off Boost's feet. Boost like lifts their foot up to like kick you back, and like they kick you, but like it doesn't hurt because it just feels like a regular person kicking you. And then they look down and they look at your feet. They look at their feet, and there's a moment of confusion. And behind the like black eyes, we see this like grin appear for just half a panel. Like for one panel, we see a grin, and then immediately it's back to this like neutral expression. We're gonna jump over to Max. Max, you got blasted, and the boots got shattered. And what do you do now?
So we get Max pulling himself to his feet, and I think at this point Max has just straight up black eye, bloodied nose, kind of takes a moment to look at this chaos, and I think we get Squire like running to Max, meeting up with him. Can I assess the situation here?
Yeah, please go ahead.
And I do not think Squire's helping, because I think Squire is real focused on, is Max alive?
Anyone want to spend team, or are we just gonna let it be a 5?
Can we get it up high enough? Because it's a 5.
I mean, if 2 of you spend team and you want to burn 2 team, we can. Yeah, you try to figure stuff out, but there's a lot happening. Faye just like screamed in agony at this moment. So you're a little distracted. So you don't really get any answers. You just kind of look around frantic. And at that moment, Lynx leaps on top of you and knocks you to the ground. She like pulls her fist back and she's about to punch you in the face. What do you want to do?
I'm going to try to like curl up and just kick her in the chest with both legs. Kick her off. Try to kick her off me.
Great. Go ahead, and I'm going to say roll to directly engage a threat.
And then I would also like to add that Squire is dutifully doing the old raccoon slap.
Perfect. I love that.
Because I need everything I can get. My rolls tonight have been stellar.
I would love to help.
Please, go ahead.
I think Amber's going to join in and kind of like tackle Lynx to try to get her off of Max.
Great. That brings it up to a 7. Max, what do you want to do? Pick one.
I'd like to just resist or avoid their blows.
That feels right. So yeah, you kick her up, and then as she's like kind of like up, almost airplane style on your feet, Machina just tackles her off them and sends her sprawling. She does land in a perfect 3-point stance, and she looks up at you. It's really unnerving because, like, after a hit like that, you'd think that she'd look up at you and be angry, but instead there's just nothing. It's just that blank expression with the black eyes with the clouds on them.
I faced down Ryder when he was in this same state. Do I make that connection? Is that something like, do I recognize those eyes?
Yep, you would recognize those eyes.
I'm gonna like pull myself to my feet and I kind of take a step back, which I think puts me closer to the people at the door, and like look at Machina and Big. I think those tall ones are controlling them. It's the same as Ryder before. We got to find them and stop this.
How do we break the control?
I don't know. I just throw a raccoon.
How'd you do it last time?
I hit him.
We can do that. Yeah. Can we get them like squaring off? I feel like maybe Max with Lynx, because I'm sure he wants to get some punches in there, and then
can we do like Max and Machina back to back on that?
Yeah, and then Machina's going with a boost and an outlet.
I think Max looks down at Squire's like, Squire, let Ryder and Blue Samurai know. Squire's going to try to slip towards them. I'm not really sure how she's going to communicate this, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Squire has to kind of dart past the golem and past Fae on the ground to get to the people to tell them, like, hey, here's what's going on. So tell me what that looks like when Squire goes over.
I think Squire's just going to try to dart between feet, hoping she's unnoticed, or at least not considered important right now.
She can make it all the way over to Ryder if she wants to.
Yeah, that's the goal there.
As Squire passes by the, like, Myriad Golem, we're going to shift focus over to said Myriad Golem. Myriad, you've just kind of knocked Fae over. There's a lot of, like, fighting happening around you. What do you want to do?
So, I think it's moment of truth time.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. This issue was GM'd by T Huth. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Blue Samurai is played by William Hendry. You can find him on Twitter at RockoutWill321 or on Steam as Cypress_Grunham. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as @Gilberecki. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yelin on Instagram. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. The music for this issue is Curse of the Scarab by Kevin MacLeod. The license and a link to his website can be found in the show notes. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes and recommending it to friends. Word of mouth is really the best way for us to bring these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.